Hello my friends, welcome back to another episode of MTDCNC North America. Today I'm with my friend Hernan at Ricaurte Precision. And guess what? Hernan spent over 10 years in Japan and they've been in business for 35 years. So obviously they know what they're doing and they love a Japanese product. Today you can see we're in front of the MAM machine by Matsuura, and we're going to learn a little bit more about how this machine has helped Hernan create success, not just since its entire ownership, but during a time where a lot of people may have struggled on getting work in and the worries that were going on and how much production was actually going to be done. We're going to learn so much from Hernan today. So Hernan, thank you so much for being a part of MTDCNC.
Thanks for letting me be a part of it.
Absolutely, my friend. So we're standing in front of this beautiful blue machine. It is very familiar to people. We know that it has 32 pallets and a 320 tool changer, which allows us to run overnight. But there's so much more to this machine, and it really helped you significantly during the last year and a half, right?
That is correct, yeah. So we had been looking at the MAM for, about a year and a half. We did a lot of investigation. Like you mentioned, I did live in Japan for a little over 10 years. Have a lot of friends who own machine shops and fabrication facilities there. So I've known about Matsuura for a long period of time. Have been really impressed, what they've been able to achieve in their shops, and was just waiting for the right time to give it a shot here at our shop. We decided to move forward with the MAM in 2019. And we had the machine installed and ready to go right around February of 2020. The following month is when things got really bad with COVID. And at the time, I thought we were in trouble. And I guess everyone felt that way. But it really helped us pull through that period of COVID in a very positive way. At that time, as was probably most common with a lot of shops out there, we had a lot of hold on orders, we had a lot of cancellation on orders. So our job was really to focus on what our customers needed and how we needed to respond. That being stated, we did have to hold back on a few orders, but we were also able to more aggressively quote parts with shorter lead times. And that really helped us stand out, compared to other machine shops in the area. So with, like you mentioned, the 32 pallets, we're able to not only set up one or two jobs, we're able to set up several jobs. And we're able to, with the flip of a switch almost, start on a new job and go on to another job, within minutes.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, Hernan, because when I hear you say that, my heart sinks at first, right? I go, oh, a big investment, an incredible product, but we don't know, it's uncertain what's gonna happen, right? But you made a really valid point, which I like, and that's the fact that with 32 different pallets, there's multiple things you were able to do in order to help your customers. You mentioned shorter lead times.
Right.
But also, if a hot job comes in, you can throw that in right away. And this allows you to reduce batch sizes and interrupt batch sizes as necessary in order to help your customers, correct?
That is right, yeah. So, again, we're not a very big machine shop, but we handle a variety of different parts, different materials as well. And what we've been able to do is prioritize jobs a lot more efficiently with this machine. The ideal scenario for this machine, because of the 32 pallets and the 320 tools, is that we're able to set up several jobs and schedule them with flexibility. But at the same time, we're able to make changes to schedules very quickly. And again, because of the way it is set up, this machine is built to run 24/7. And even though we started during the COVID crisis, this machine has basically not stopped for the past 16 months. So we rode through COVID with this machine spindle time being minimum 75%. At the same time, speaking of COVID, you didn't ask this, but with regard to scheduling, and employees, we did have some issues. We did have some employees that were out for a period of time, and we were able to schedule the machine and schedule our jobs with a lot more fluidity than we were on our other machines.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just to reiterate for the guys that are watching, when we're talking about lights out machining, 24/7 operation, a lot of people out there still think, well, I need to have a robot and a machine, maybe a bar feed or something. There's a lot of different options to get into that. But when we're looking at 34 pallets here, and I've been hanging out with you for a few hours now, I've not seen anyone on this machine. It really means I can set the machine up, I can let it run, it's lights out. The world we live in right now, where we're competing on a global scale on so many different levels, right? Sometimes it's pricing, sometimes it's the ability to even have the accuracy and precision to create a part like the MAM can do, or the fact that we can run lights out without having to stress about, the parts coming off inaccurate, whatever it might be that we're competing with. This machine really helps you create that success, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We've been really, really impressed. Again, it's not something that you just drop in and let go. Yes, there are some steps involved in training, and like anything, the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. But with this system, we have been very careful in who we have trained on the system. We have some very capable programmers, but we do not have setup machinists here on the machine. Most of the work is done at the programming and implanting stage. But once we have the machine running, it is running extremely consistently. One thing that we've been really impressed with is the consistency and quality with tight tolerance parts. A first article piece will be released, and I know, Matsuura talks a lot about running the more complex parts in the day and the simpler parts at night. We're running a lot of complex parts at night because of the consistency. The part that's running right now has a ±0.2 tolerance on it, and we're running this lights out at night. So, again, there's a little bit of trial and error involved. You've got to be very careful with the programming and your tool selection, your speeds and feeds. But once you have everything dialed in, the machine is extremely consistent. And the fact that we're able to program and schedule redundancy and tooling allows us to continue running at night without being overly concerned that that a broken tool will have an effect on the part. Again, there's always room for human error, but the system allows us to recognize a lot of things that we wouldn't be able to. And one of those is Complete. Complete as well has been a real big help for us. We work with a lot of different software programs. Our programmers are very interested in working with different programs and learning about different programs that are out there. But Complete has been great, and it's been very smart, I think, of Matsuura to work with Complete and to partner up with Complete, because the system understands the machine. As a lot of people working in CNC, a lot of programmers know, you can basically do anything on a computer screen. But the reality hits you when you try to do everything once you have the setup and the tooling and everything in the machine. Complete recognizes what the machine can and can't do, and speeds up the process and makes all of us feel a lot more comfortable.
What a great testimony in the sense of it shows to Goya. I prefer that over goes to show you. It shows to Goya how much you trust this machine. If you're talking about 2 tenths that you're going to run overnight, and I'm sure that's not an inexpensive product. So to trust Matsuura so well that you're going to say, okay, I got 2 tenths, I'm going to go home for the night, I'm going to come in the morning, I know those parts are going to be good. That to me is a testimony in itself. But now you're talking about the software as well, and I'd like to reiterate a small piece of that, talking about how the software and the machine just understand each other so well, right? But you also mentioned that you bought this at the beginning of 2020, right before a situation hit that there was possibly a lot of struggle, and you knew you needed to put this into use right away. So am I wrong in thinking, how easy it was or how quickly you guys are. Maybe it goes to your intelligence, maybe it goes to the ease of use, but how quickly you were able to adapt to Complete as soon as you bought the machine and get it up and running so that you could find success during the last year and a half.
That's a team effort. And by team, I don't mean not only our team that was focused and we were, pretty well organized prior to the install, but Matsuura has a huge amount of experience with these machines, not only from a technical aspect, but in implementation with their customers. And Selway. Locally, we've been working with Selway, and they have been with us throughout the entire process. That was a huge help. So, when you're involved in implementing such a powerful machine, there's so much to learn, so much to consider. But again, when you're working with people with a lot of experience in these areas, you're able to avoid a lot of potential pitfalls. So, I think it was a collaborative effort and a really good combination of, world-class technology, software, and support.
I love hearing you say that. And I love hearing you say that because I agree with you. I don't own a Matsuura like you do, but I love the folks at Selway and love the folks at Matsuura, and they do make sure that you're taken care of. Other than the fact of how high quality this machine is, to me that's the next best thing, right? We need that service in this world.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, I have a bias towards Japanese product, having lived in Japan and knowing the culture and seeing so much there from an operational standpoint. But again, if you don't have the right support, you're going to be left with a very expensive toy. And that's the last thing we want to do. We're still learning. We've had this system a little over a year. We've run thousands of parts. We've been extremely happy, but we continue to learn and continue to improve because, again, the system is so powerful. Complete is so powerful. We continue to be enthusiastic about what we can do on this system.
A person much wiser than me once told me, sales sell the first machine and service sell the rest.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Well, knowing about the flexibility, the reliability, the precision, what it's able to help you do with throwing hot jobs into the mix, getting them done, shortening lead times for your customers, was there anything unexpected that came with the machine?
Not so much unexpected, but, well, I guess unexpected, okay. As far as being unexpected, what I did notice was that everyone in the shop, of course, had an interest in what was going on. And we try to embrace technology as much as we can, but this has been a real catalyst for not only our programmers, but our setup guys, our machinists, to start rethinking the way they do things. Setups on other machines, being a little bit more efficient in the way that we do setups and set up parts and that, not only on this machine, but on other machines. So if anything, it's a help drive a little bit more ingenuity and continuous improvement throughout the shop.
That's fantastic. Well, guys, I hope you guys have all learned something like I have today. Hernan, I wish you continued success, continued growth. We understand that this machine shop, full of Japanese love of machines and Japanese machines, the growth it's just going to be something I can't wait to come back in a year or two and talk with you again. So guys out there, this is Matsuura, incredible testimonial. Hernan, you're an amazing person. Thank you so much for sharing it with our global audience. And again, thanks for being here.